there's a lot of fighters in the UFC. There's some young up-and-coming prospects. There's champions. There's contenders. There's some people with one foot out the door. And with all these fighters in the UFC, they come and go as time passes. So I've got a list of one fighter from every division that I have not given up on, no matter what they've been through. I still believe in these fighters, whether I'm delusional or not. And for the flyweight division, the fighter I have not given up on is Josh Van. Now, I don't think a lot of people have given up on Josh Van. I mean, he has one loss in the UFC. You know, it's not like he's on a massive losing streak, and he's still very young. He's one of the youngest fighters in the UFC. I believe he's 23 years old. But he's coming off a loss to Charles Johnson, who was kind of the prospect killer of the flyweight division. He got KO'd in round 3 of that fight. But I still believe in Josh Van. He's got really good boxing, super fun guy to watch. He's always heavy pressure. He's always walking you down. And he's never in a boring fight. He always has fun fights. I've been watching Josh Van since his UFC debut against Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Yeah, he's always put on an entertaining fight. He's never had a boring fight. Super fun guy to watch. And he's not just fun to watch. He's also very, very talented. And he's still got so much time in the game, so much time to improve. So I haven't given up on Josh Van, and I'm sure you guys haven't either. But for Bantamweight, this one hits close to home. I haven't given up on Damon Blacksher, dude. I still believe in Damon Blacksher, okay? Dude, I love Damon Blacksher. He's so fun to watch. He's one of the most, exciting grapplers in the UFC, in my opinion. I love watching Damon Blacksher. But he's coming off back-to-back losses. But you look at Damon Blacksher, dude. He's only 30 years old. He is insane grappling. His striking is getting better. I know he just got knocked out in 15 seconds by Montel Jackson, who is a very talented prospect. So there's no shame in that. Even though it was 8, I don't care. I don't care how short it was, dude. I'm not giving up. Mario Bautista, in my opinion, he beat Mario Bautista. I thought he got robbed, and that was on short notice, like a 1-week turnaround. He twisters Jose Johnson, and then literally 1 week later, the very next weekend, he steps in on short notice to take on Mario Bautista, who is one of the most hyped up-and-coming prospects in the bantamweight division, and he gives him a very, very close fight. And I thought he won that fight. I thought he should have beat Mario Bautista, but they go the other way. They give it to Bautista, and then his only other loss is to Farid Basharat, who is undefeated. Basharat, Bautista, and Jackson, those are 3 really talented prospects in the UFC. There's no shame in losing to any of them. Those are 3 really tough opponents. So I haven't given up on Damon Blacksher. I love Damon Blacksher. I'll always be a Damon Blacksher fan, and I do believe he's going to bounce back. Whoever they give him next, he's going to sub him. I truly believe that. As long as they don't give him fucking Peyton Talbot. Come on, dude, give this guy a layup, man. He's got Montel Jackson and Mario Bautista back-to-back. Come on, give him a can, please, dude. Can we lay off the prospects? Give this guy a win, man. Dude, he stepped in on short notice against Bautista, and you give him Montel Jackson. Dude, that's fucked up. He did you a favor. And he's like, okay, cool. Thanks for saving the Mario Bautista fight. Here's Montel Jackson, dude. Okay, dude. Whatever, man. So, Damon Blacksher, I'll never give up on Damon Blacksher. He's my pick for bantamweight. Now, for featherweight, it's an interesting pick. I haven't given up on Alexander Volkanovski. And it's hard to say that. You look at Alexander Volkanovski, and people are going to tell you he's washed. His chin's gone. He's not the same. But I look at Alexander Volkanovski, and I see a guy who can still beat a lot of the people in the featherweight division. I see a guy that gave a very close fight to Islam Makhachev. I also see a guy that got KO'd on short notice and then came back just a little too soon. He just came back a little too soon. And he did look good in that fight until he didn't. That's the problem. But it's not like he looked washed. He looked good. He didn't look any different than he's ever looked. He just got caught. And that's what happens when you turn around too quick. And that's what happens when you fight a guy like Ilia Topuria, who's got so much power in his hands. There's no shame in that. I still believe Alexander Volkanovski is one of the best fighters in the featherweight division. I believe he's right behind Ilia Topuria. I still think he beats Max Holloway. I don't know if people are switching up on that and they think Max finally beats him now. He's 0-3 against Volk, and I don't think anything's changed. I think Volkanovski would still beat Max Holloway. I think he still beats Ortega I think he beats Diego Lopez. I think he beats all of these up-and-comers. Like, I still truly do believe that. I think the only man that can beat Volkanovski in featherweight is Ilia Topuria. I think he beats Movsar Evloev. So despite being 1-3 in his last 4 fights, I have not given up on Alexander Volkanovski, and you shouldn't either. For lightweight, though, it's going to be Jalin Turner, dude. Jalin Turner. I'll never give up on Jalin Turner. Like, this guy is so talented. He is so talented. He's such a good striker. It's just the fight IQ, man, and that's why I'll never give up on him. Because fight IQ, it's something you can fix that, man. You can fix that. He's got all the talent in the world. Such a good striker. He's got good submissions too. He needs to work on the anti-wrestling a little bit, maybe. Like, again, you look at Jalin Turner, he's another guy like Volk who's 1-3 in his last 4, but it's very deceiving. Renato Moicano, he had that fight won. Moicano was out of there in round 1. If he just jumps on him and lands a few more shots, that fight gets called off. Dude, if Dana didn't up the bonuses to $300K, then Jalin Turner wins that fight. That's all I'm saying. He wanted the walk-off KO for the bonus. Dude, if it were 50K bonuses, I'm telling you, Jalin Turner jumps on Moicano and finishes him in round 1. It's facts. Destroyed Bobby Green, nearly killed him. Dan Hooker, he gassed out going for a finish. Dude, Dan Hooker, he ate one of the cleanest head kicks I've ever seen in the UFC ever. I don't know how he just took that and didn't even go down. He wasn't even rocked. Like, dude, he gassed out going for a finish. It's whatever. Split decision loss to Dan Hooker. Steps in and fights Mateusz Gamrot on short notice. Split decision loss in a very close fight where I thought he should have won on damage, if I'm being completely honest. Dropped Gamrot. Hurt him bad multiple times. I thought he did more damage in that fight. And that's it. He's 1-3 in his last 4. Moicano should have beat him. Hooker gassed out going for a finish. Gamrot, he's got 2 split decision losses to Gamrot and Hooker. I don't know, dude. And Jalin Turner, he's only 29. He's 29 years old. He just turned 29 this year. He's still young. He's got a lot of time to improve. I have not given up on Jalin Turner. He's 14-8. It's like a WMMA record. I don't care, dude. I still believe in Jalin Turner. And whoever they give him next, I don't care if they give him Joel Alvarez. He'll beat Joel Alvarez if they make that fight. I would pick Jalin Turner. I don't think a lot of people beat Jalin Turner if he works on the fight IQ and the anti-wrestling. Like, if it's a stand-up fight, I'm not picking a lot of people to beat Jalin Turner, if I'm being completely honest. So, for lightweight, I'm picking Jalin Turner. Welterweight, Gilbert Burns. I have not given up on Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns, what people are going to tell you is that he's washed, he's old, he's out of his prime, and he's on the way out. But he is 38 years old. It's true. He just turned 38. He's been 38 for about a month, so it's not like he's pushing 39 or whatever. But like his losses, Bilal Muhammad, who, by the way, hasn't lost since 2019 and is now a champion, he took that fight on short notice and got hurt in the first round. Short notice fight, and he was injured in round 1. Like, it's whatever. JDM, he's beating JDM on the scorecards until JDM KOs him with like 2 minutes left. Like, he was beating JDM. He was beating the young up-and-coming prospect. He was beating him until he wasn't. Just like Volk. He was winning until he wasn't. And then he lost to Khamzat Chimaev in a very close fight. And he lost to Usman. Like, all of his losses are very impressive losses. He doesn't lose to scrubs. And I might pick him to beat Sean Brady. I'm still thinking about it. But I still believe in Gilbert Burns. I don't think he's washed. I think until he proves that he is washed and he doesn't have it anymore, I still believe in Gilbert Burns. I think he can get a couple more wins. I don't think he's done. For middleweight, this one was interesting. I couldn't really think of anybody for middleweight, but I thought of somebody. Andre Muniz. You know, once upon a time, Andre Muniz was like the scary up-and-comer at middleweight. I know some of you can't believe that. Maybe you weren't watching back then. But a lot of people were like, whoa, be on the lookout for Andre Muniz. He's coming for it. And then he lost to Brendan Allen. And then he lost to Paul Craig. But he just beat Jung Young Park, the Iron Turtle. And Andre Muniz, he does have some of the best grappling at middleweight, where middleweight's a very weak division. especially in the grappling. There's not a lot of great grapplers at middleweight. I wouldn't be surprised if Andre Muniz can work his way into the top 10, top 5 maybe, but I wouldn't be surprised if Andre Muniz can eventually make his way into the top 10 of middleweight. I have not given up on him despite losing to Paul Craig in 2023, which is kind of embarrassing, but whatever. Light heavyweight, there's a couple options here, but I'm going with a man who has been extremely disrespected in the past few months, and that is Jamahal Hill. I have not given up on Jamahal Hill. He lost to Alex Pereira. Dude, who cares, right? Everyone loses to Alex Pereira. You've just kind of got to accept it. You know, like water is wet, grass is green. You're going to get knocked out by Alex Pereira with a left hook. You're just going to, it's like death and taxes. It's coming, dude. And he rushed back from an Achilles injury, which is a very, very serious injury that will really limit your explosiveness. And he rushed back from that to get a fight. I would pick him to beat Roundtree, and I would probably pick him to beat Olberg. I think he's one of the best boxers in the light heavyweight division. I don't think that's a hot take. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to say. And to be completely honest, I think he would beat Yuri Prochazka. I'm just going to say it. I think he beats Yuri. I really do. So I think Jamahal Hill is going to bounce back from that Alex Pereira loss. I still believe in him. I still believe in the boxing and in the power of Jamahal Hill. And now for heavyweight, the guy I have not given up on is Robelis Despaigne. Now, do I think Robelis Despaigne is going to go on and be a champion at heavyweight? No, I don't. But I think he can beat these bums. Like, I think if he just works, I know he's older, like he's what, 30, he's only 35. He's not that old for heavyweight. Like, I thought he was way older than that. He'll be 36 next month, but that's still not old for heavyweight. If he works on the grappling, works on the wrestling, I think he can reach top 15, top 10. I don't think that's an insane thing to say, because you look at heavyweight, half the fucking guys in the top 15 are fat. So, like, you can't sit here and tell me that you would pick Tai Tuivasa, who is ranked 13th in the world, to beat Robelis Despaigne. I don't believe it. I'd pick Despaigne. You can't tell me you would pick Derek Lewis to beat Robelis Despaigne. I don't believe it. I really don't believe it. You can't tell me you would pick, maybe Tybura could take him down. Maybe. Maybe you could pick Tybura. But, like, you get the point, dude. Like, these fat people towards the bottom half of the rankings, I think Despaigne can destroy them with a little bit of work on the grappling and the takedown defense. I really do. Like, heavyweight's not stacked. If he beats Austin Lane, I wouldn't be surprised if they booked Tuivasa versus Robelis Despaigne. I'm going to call my shot right now. I would not call it because that's a very winnable fight for him. So I have not given up on Robelis Despaigne despite getting wrestled to a decision by Waldo Cortez Acosta. I haven't given up on him. I still think he can reach the top 15, top 10 of heavyweight. I don't think he'll ever be a champ, like I said, but, you know, let's not act like heavyweight is super stacked and he can't reach the top 10 or top 15. But those are the fighters in the UFC that I have not given up on. Let me know what you guys think. Which fighters have you not given up on in the UFC? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time.